Super excited about what we're launching in this webinar today. One of the problem or challenges we saw with prompts in general is that we often tend to repeat ourselves, writing the same thing on and on and on within the chat inputs. What we're solving now for users and teams is to actually have a much more collaborative experience around how to work with prompt, how to design the prompt, and how to use them as part of their development experience. So our chat panel got a new addition, a few actually. The first one being the prompt button. What this allows to do is effectively to fetch and reuse a bunch of prompts that have been designed. We provide out of the box a set of existing ones that we see here. And what this allows us to do is effectively to work with DinoAI without having to write our prompts on and on and on. Let's take an example, updating a DB sources file. That's something that happens quite commonly. We want to make sure that we can bring some sort of standardization in the way how we do this. So we have now a prompt available where automatically we'll be going and fetching the content of the current open file. We'll show later on how that actually works with variable. And it's as simple as just selecting which prompt we want. Right now it's selected F1 sources.yml, which means the result when I press the send button. What we're going to be doing now is just send this prompt to the agent. We're adding the additional context that is required for updating our YAML file. And now the DinoAI agent will just go ahead and do its magic. Again, it's fetching our data from the database, is then looking at the YAML files to see what needs to be updated. If I did want a table that required changes, and now he's going ahead and fetching additional information from the table so that the schema.yaml can be updated. When we think about how can we make sure that teams works in a very standardized ways and fashion, how we can make sure that now teams can collaborate about sharing and reusing the best prompts available to them, and how we can make sure that we don't have to type the same thing on and on and on. Now prompts are available out of the box in Paradime there. So we'll wait now to complete the process of updating these sources, and then we'll look at a few other examples as well. But I'm super excited about this. I think with AI, one of the core behavior we want to introduce for users is how can they write by the prompt and how they can reuse them and how they can share them in a collaborative way with their team. The other exciting things about this that we'll see in a second is around how can we use variables within the prompt. So that's something that we just saw just now in terms of being able to understand which file I had open. And this is actually something pretty powerful and exciting for us. So we're planning to add more and more variables for the prompts as part of DinoAI. The other thing that as this gets generated, here we go. So again, DinoAI was powerful enough to go and identify exactly in which location. You fetch all the columns name, you fetch all the data types, and now I can simply go ahead and click on accept, and this file has been updated for me.